his signs are so tiny, and they're little tiny, and they're right there next to the grass. They're about this big. And this, I don't know.
Hello. Did you see her on the cover of the Bangor Daily News? You're a celebrity. I have a copy for you. Oh, you're there, yeah.
Oh, you get your signs out already? Right. Cal. Oh, there's Hubble. Brian. That's awesome. That's what how are you? Yeah. Right.
You can have a yeah.
Oh, Brian, I knew you were going to be here.
Which one do you No, I'm fine. Which one have you got?
I've got it.
It's so
Iconic.
Yeah, I'm going to bring some.
I know. You know who she is? I do, but I haven't seen her for a long time.
We just admire all your art.
Yeah.
My husband
Husband
Al.
Al, hi, how are you?
I like that. Did I say that out loud? Whoops. Yeah, I'm past that stage. I did that back when I was 18. I'm not doing it now.
Getting out of hand.
That would not be a pretty sight. I need that.
What's on the way up to a speech in New Hampshire? It's more and more miles.
It appears that they're waiting for Attorney General Janet Mills, who was pulled aside by one of the reporters. Should be getting started any second now.
He said someone might come out.
He said he didn't understand why people went.
I think he is a make America great again. No, I think he is a make it great again tie on the face. Because there's someone like that who has a word cut. Have y'all seen the Canadian thing where it's
Somebody told me yesterday, we shall overcome. No. There's that song.
Sure, thank you.
Amazing. Welcome. Are you one of these?
What is it?
It's the Gospel of Jesus Christ.
Okay, thanks.
Don't worry about it. No, you're not blocking. I'm a citizen.
Okay, here comes Attorney General Janet Mills. We should be getting started.
Yes. Like not.
Yes, I did. I love that one.
Sorry, guys. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for being here. My name is Phil Bartlett. I'm chair of the Maine Democratic Party, and I'm joined by a number of state legislators, local supporters of Hillary Clinton, and especially our executive director, Katie Mae Simpson, and our esteemed Attorney General Janet Mills, who will speak with you very shortly. We're here because we want to make sure we are calling attention to Trump's latest antics. His rhetoric is not only hurtful, it is illegal. He's talking about sexual misconduct towards women simply because they have less power or because he's more famous. It is simply unacceptable that this level of misogyny should be articulated by someone who wants to be the next president of the United States. As a man, able-bodied, white, I may be one of the few groups that Donald Trump can tolerate. But the reality is, we all must stand up because we can all relate to the kind of hatred and mistreatment that Donald Trump lashes out at anyone he doesn't like. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I'm concerned that she's going to grow up in a society where there could be a president who sets a culture that says it's okay, and you should expect and accept to be sexually assaulted by someone purely based on the fact of your gender, your race, or the level of power that the person you're interacting with has. It's simply unacceptable, and I relate not only because I have a daughter, not only because I have other women in my life, my mother, so many friends and family, but as a fellow human being. We all deserve to be treated with a basic level of dignity. And what Donald Trump has shown time after time over the course of this campaign is that he doesn't believe that. If you are not in his select group, you're unacceptable. If you disagree with him, you're somehow out to get him. And I think the latest series with woman after woman standing up and saying, not only is Donald Trump's locker room talk, as he would call it, hurtful to us, but he has acted in accordance with that rhetoric. Time after time, he has used and abused his position of power in order to make women feel small, to sexually violate them, to act illegally towards them. It is unacceptable and is inconsistent with Maine values. So we stand here to stand up for Maine values and to stand up for the values of all of America. We believe in dignity and respect of every single human being, and we're proud to support Hillary Clinton, who believes the same thing. She spent her life fighting for the disadvantaged in our society, and she's sought to make sure that everyone has a place at the table as we set a course forward for our future. Please let me now introduce to you Attorney General Janet Mills.
Thank you, Phil. Yay! Thank you. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be here on a fine Saturday afternoon, excuse me. But we're here because the stakes could not be higher this election year for women and men of Maine. I'm a woman who was born and raised in the 2nd District of Maine. I grew up in the shadows of Margaret Chase Smith, a family friend. Senator Smith must be turning over in her grave right now to know who the standard bearer of her party, the Republican Party, is in this presidential race. She's got to be turning over in her grave because this is not the kind of candidate that she would support. Nor is it the kind of candidate Bill Cohen supports. Nor is it the kind of candidate many other people of Democrats and Republicans down through history would have supported in the state of Maine. We, the women and men of Maine deserve a president who is stable. They deserve a president who is civil. They deserve a president who respects our rights and respects our dignity. They deserve a president who will stand up for children and families across the country and around the globe, and that person is Hillary Clinton. I trust Hillary Clinton to sit across the table from Vladimir Putin, negotiate world peace, negotiate disarmament treaties, because she's been there, she's done that. We trust and we need a president who will be civil and respectful of the discourse of women and men. We need a president who will be bringing the message of America across the globe. That person, the one who's been there, is Hillary Clinton. I trust her to do that. This year, women have a voice. Yes, we have a voice and a vote. And we will be there at the ballot box. We will beat back the bullies at the ballot box, because we don't want a person whose sense of civility is bankrupt as his casinos who is reckless, who is unstable, who is unqualified, who is morally incoherent, morally insolvent. We cannot gamble on a man like Donald Trump. We need the person who will lead us to greatness, and that is Hillary Clinton. Thank you.
And now please welcome our Executive Director, Katie Simpson.
God hates hands that shed innocent blood.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me. I'm Katie Simpson. I'm the Executive Director of the Maine Democratic Party. I'm also a survivor of sexual assault. I grew up here in the 2nd District in Washington County, Maine, and when I was 11 and 12 years old, I was repeatedly sexually harassed and sexually assaulted on the school bus to and from school. It was boys my age, and they would cover for each other. No adult ever knew. I never told anyone because of fear and shame. Even when I said no and pushed back, it didn't work. I was in 6th grade, and it was my very first year in a new school. I was struggling to maneuver the social scene and trying hard to fit in. Telling an adult never crossed my mind. It was shameful, it was scary, and even saying the words out loud felt impossible. Instead, I managed to miss the bus on a regular basis so that my grandmother would drive me to school. When the recording of Donald Trump's 2005 conversation with Billy Bush was released a week ago, in which they talk and laugh and make light of sexual assault, many millions of women and girls around the country experienced painful flashbacks of similar moments in their lives. Author Kelly Oxford wrote on Twitter, "Women, tweet me your first assaults." And then she proceeded to share her own experience, her first of several, in which a stranger on a city bus grabbed her genitals while smiling at her. A flood of responses followed her initial tweet. Millions of people responded and shared their own first encounters on social media. When I posted my story on Facebook a few days ago, dozens of people responded, some for the first time sharing their own stories, and some shared them with me through private messages because they weren't ready to come out publicly. For many women to talk about sexual assault and their own sexual assault, it's the first of many. Many women have experienced it many times throughout their lives. It's common for women to have been assaulted, raped, sexually harassed, and the release of the Trump tape hit a nerve. That's why we're still talking about it a week later. It's not just locker room talk. And it's not just for me, it's millions of women who are coming forward to share their stories and really shining a light on how frequent these incidents are. But by talking about it, we open the door about talking about how to fix it. The problem extends beyond party affiliation. Rape culture is real. It's real enough that a group of boys in Washington County felt entitled to touch and poke and prod a crying girl on the school bus day after day. And it's real enough that a nominee for president thinks that fame and fortune entitle him to kiss and grope women, any woman, strangers, people he knows, without their consent. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and I do not want her to reach her preteen years at the age at which I was assaulted with Donald Trump as her president. I also have a 3-year-old son, and I don't want Donald Trump to be the first president that he remembers. Children learn from the adults in their lives and the adults they look up to, from their parents to their president. We need to teach our kids that assault is not okay. It's just as important that we educate our sons as that we educate our daughters. Trump has been to Maine several times, including today, convinced he can earn at least one of our electoral votes. I hope Mainers will join with me and say enough is enough. We have a voice. We can work together to address and end rape culture. And the first step is to end the political career of a man who thinks joking and committing sexual assault is okay.
Yes.
As Michelle Obama said, we have knowledge, we have a voice, and we have a vote. Mainers, we hold the power in our hands to tell Donald Trump, no, we will not tolerate your words, we won't tolerate your actions, actions that degrade and demean more than half our population. Early voting by absentee ballot is open. It has already begun in Maine. You can walk into your town clerk's office next week to vote in person, and I encourage you to vote against Donald Trump and vote against rape culture. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. As you can see, we need a president who will empower women, not degrade them. Thank you for coming. We're happy to talk with you individually after.